And my colleague, Rachelle Akuffo, spoke with one of the researchers who helped author this report, Rosalie Aguilar. She is the National Project Coordinator of Salud America at UT Health San Antonio. Aguilar began by explaining the most revealing aspects of the study's findings.
With this study, we examined 32 companies that spend over $100 million in advertising, in specifically advertising food. And what we found that was particularly shocking was that 8 out of every 10 ads that are seen by Latino children happen to be promoting fast food, candies, sodas, or unhealthy snacks. And overall, $500 million are spent on this junk food marketing towards Latino children in particular. When it comes to the marketing of healthier products, only 1% of products like water or fruits and nuts were actually directed towards Latino children and African-American children.
So as you look at this disparity then, which are the companies that are the real big spenders when it comes to this junk food advertising?
Well, there are several companies. I know many of these companies have made commitments to trying to promote wellness, but some of the bigger companies like Mars and Coca-Cola, Nestle, many of these companies continue to direct the marketing of junk food products towards minority communities.
So as we try and get an understanding, in your research, what did you find was the motivation behind targeting Black and Hispanic consumers?
Well, first of all, it's definitely good for business. What I think a lot of firms are now realizing is that there's a lot of purchasing power among Latinos and minority communities. There's also the fact that many of these products are readily available in several of these communities, especially when they lack access to fresh fruits and vegetables and grocery stores that provide these. So these are primarily low-income communities. What we're also seeing is many of these communities see certain populations, such as African-American communities, as trendsetters towards younger consumers, and that multicultural messaging is actually effective at reaching youth, widespread appeal for youth.
So on the one hand, you have the messaging, but what about the strategy? How do these companies actually go about targeting these audiences?
Many of these companies, what they tend to do is, of course, promote those multicultural messages, but also by providing and building goodwill among minority communities through offering scholarships and sports sponsorship programs that they also sponsor. So, of course, the community appreciates that any kind of resources that can help towards these programs, but at the same time, what's happening is they don't realize that many of these products that are being directed at them are high in sugar, high in fat, high in sodium, and so overall, it really doesn't do the community a lot of good to have the high junk food products, the unhealthy products marketed and directed towards them.
With those junk food products also comes a much higher propensity for obesity and other chronic illnesses that do disproportionately affect minorities. How much of a role, though, does advertising have in terms of the health impact?
Well, it's difficult to put a number on that, but what we do know is that marketing dollars far outweigh what's spent on public health programs and public health messages. So unfortunately, many children, many of these communities do not get to see what the true impact of these products can be. They aren't quite aware all the time of just how many calories many of these items have and how it impacts their health.
Now, as you know, we're often inundated both blatantly and hidden with advertising, whether it's on your smartphone, pop-up ads on your computer, etc. But do you think there's an actual awareness within the communities that they're specifically being targeted because of their race or their social economic status?
I think through the research that we're doing with and several other great organizations out there are conducting and news reports like this, there is a heightened awareness, but unfortunately, it's still those groups that are most vulnerable and at risk that don't always hear the message, those low-income communities that may not, of course, they're more likely to see the ad that's in the corner store, big ads for soda or junk food like chips and other food products. And those ads are more likely to resonate with those communities. The fast food restaurants, many of these communities are located in what we call now food swamps. So they're inundated with access to these unhealthy products. And often parents are overworked. They're working more than 2 jobs. And the easiest thing can often be just going to a fast food restaurant and picking up food off of the dollar menu and serving this to their children rather than having the time to prepare healthier meals or having access through grocery stores.
So what is it that you want both companies and consumers to walk away from this study with?
So I think the important thing is really that we are aware of what's going on, that we're aware of this target marketing. I think altogether, target marketing is not a bad thing, but companies need to be more responsible in the products that they're marketing, especially towards these already at-risk communities. So I would encourage companies to really focus on targeting the healthier options towards minority communities. Water, nuts, fruits, those would be great. I'd love to see an increase in that. And also just really consumer demand. I think as long as consumers are demanding healthier options, then companies will also begin to listen.